The second Oshinoko light novel, The Attitude of Two, came out recently, and it focused heavily on Akane and Kana. We got another look into their past as child actors, and even a glimpse into the future after the final chapter. While we got to see some of that feature in the bonus chapter, I think the epilogue in this novel does a better job at fleshing out some details, and giving us potentially something to look forward to. Even though the entire light novel isn't completely translated yet, I didn't want to keep you all waiting, so I'm just going to summarize the important bits of the epilogue with one of the fan translations I found. It's probably not the most accurate, but it does give us a good idea of what's actually happening. The epilogue begins in the future after the ending, during a press conference with both Kana and Akane. It seems they both won the current year's Best Actress award, which is interesting. I guess two people can win the award, although I doubt they're that happy to share it together. Kana debuted as an actor about 20 years ago, so she had the instincts to smile about it even after they're congratulated by the host. If Kana started acting when she was only 3, then this means Kana is in her early 20s now too. Both Akane and Kana recently co-starred in the stage play Thorn Sisters, which ended up becoming a massive success, from opening night to the last performance. Tickets sold out completely for every showing. Even additional performances had to be quickly scheduled due to its massive popularity. This overwhelming reception is what led to the duo winning the Best Actress award together, a very rare feat. It's well known that Akane and Kana have worked together on numerous occasions, and midway through their interview, the host asked the pair to share their thoughts on each other. Specifically, the host questions Kana about her early impressions of working with Akane, and she decides to be honest about it. She flat out calls Akane a weirdo, and how it felt like Akane wouldn't even hesitate to stalk someone if it helped her get into character. Kana even says that there were times where she even felt a bit creeped out. That gets Akane riled up a bit as she tells Kana that was so mean in mock outrage. Some of the reporters there actually crack smiles, thinking Kana is just joking around, as Akane's dedication to analyzing her roles isn't too well known outside the industry. The host then asks Akane for her impression of Kana, and of course, she quickly explains how Kana has a twisted and horrible personality. She even reveals how Kana has made her cry so many times. Instead of calling Kana the genius child actor who can cry in 10 seconds, Akane always thought it should have been the genius child actor who can make others cry in 10 seconds. That's actually a good one, and the audience thinks so too, as they start laughing. Kana just glares at Akane, who continues saying that Kana is not even completely beyond analysis. She's the kind of actress even Akane can't ever replicate. Every time Akane thinks she's figured something out, Kana surprises her again. She's so versatile and free, amazing Akane every time. Akane then concludes by saying Kana is the most troublesome person in her life. It does sound like Akane had been complimenting her, but Kana isn't too sure. In the end, understanding Kana had become one of Akane's life goals. On the other hand, Kana says her goal is to escape from Akane, getting the audience to burst into laughter again, really believing that the two actresses are just joking with each other. The host even asks if the two are really that close. There are rumors of a dislike between the two, but seeing them bicker and hear somehow made the host think they've always been best friends. Of course, both of them are quick to say how much they hate each other, making the host think this is part of their method acting, since they played rival women in the recent play. Akane actually says that they were just joking around actually, followed by Kana, who says that they even rehearsed together sometimes. Ultimately, neither of them knew whether the relationship was good or bad. Sometimes they were lifelong friends, other times they were fellow actors with the same dream, and even one time in their lives, they were romantic rivals. Taking the mic, Kana says that the truth is that she wouldn't be where she is today without Akane, who made her never want to lose. Akane nods in agreement and says that she is able to continue acting because of Kana. Then Kana states that the award is hers alone next time, with Akane saying it will be hers instead. As they stare each other down, the flashes from the cameras intensify, trying to capture what may be an iconic shot. Perhaps the headlines would be a reference to their popular rivalry. From there, the interview continues, with Akane wanting to share this achievement with those who supported her, and Kana thinking of the comrades from her idol days. Kana even expresses her gratitude to her mother, but doubted she'd be happy to hear that. After all, Kana's mother had lost interest in her around the time she started high school. Once Kana's child actor prime ran out, her mother went back to the countryside to live with Kana's grandpa, leaving Kana in an apartment alone. It was abrupt because Kana's mom had been very involved in her acting life until her career began to fall off. Even when Kana shared her current activities through text, her mom no longer seemed excited. Kana wanted to call her selfish, heartless, and how she wanted more love. But in the end, Kana had come to terms with it. The reason Kana acts now is no longer for her mother's sake. She carries with her something much more important, which gives her the strength to keep going. It's the fact that Kana can no longer directly convey her joy to the person she wanted to share it with. That person is of course Aqua. With that though, the press conference soon comes to an end, and we cut to the night after the press conference, where Akane finds herself wandering through the city. She had a rare day off, and the cool, clear weather was perfect. The woman had started her day reading a book, only to accidentally doze off, and unfortunately, by the time she had woken up, the sun was already starting to set. Akane feels like she had been falling victim to bad habits ever since she began living alone, with no one like her mother around to scold her. The last few days have been hectic for her too, even Akane is sleep deprived. Accepting her current state, Akane decided to head out and made her way to a familiar pedestrian bridge. Bathed in the light of the setting sun, she stopped at the middle of the bridge and rested her arms on the railing before speaking softly to someone who was no longer there. Akane starts talking to the ghost of Aqua about how she spoke with Ruby at the TV station today, and how Kana is still the same. In reality, it's the version of Aqua that exists in Akane's head that replies to her. She really does this as a way to organize her thoughts, but it's become almost a ritual at this point. In a way, by doing this, it makes it feel like Aqua's soul is still lingering in this world. Then Akane suddenly hears the sound of a crow, which had landed on a utility pole nearby. When Akane turns around, she's greeted by the sight of long hair fluttering in the wind. It's none other than Tsukuyomi, who has grown up quite a bit since the 15-year line movie. Right now she wasn't wearing a school uniform, but something that looked like funeral clothes instead. Seeing Tsukuyomi's gaze and smile at her, Akane clarifies how what she does on her day off is her business. Tsukuyomi says it's unhealthy, almost like Akane isn't accepting Aqua's death before chuckling, almost like she's mocking Akane. Even though they don't make plans to meet up, Akane often finds herself running into Tsukuyomi, as if she was always watching her. Akane actually investigated Tsukuyomi too, by doing a light background check. That ended up being a mistake for some reason. Then Tsukuyomi warns Akane that she should not try to bring the dead back to life. That's forbidden. However, Akane responds by saying that even for forbidden things, there should be a way, right? The reason Akane suggests that is because she learned that Tsukuyomi comes from the world of the occult. Apparently, Tsukuyomi was born without a name from high-status families, and knows of knowledge that Akane does not. For example, the technique of implanting the memories of the dead into a newborn. If it's a technique, even if it's an occult one, Akane believes it must be reproducible. There is a possibility for her to meet Aqua again. Tsukuyomi seemed to guess what Akane was thinking, and just let out a sigh, telling Akane that the road ahead may lead to hell. Then Tsukuyomi took her leave, and got into a black Sentry car parked nearby, with the driver glaring at Akane. Like Akane had stated once before, she was prepared to fall into hell with Aqua, and believes even now that her fight isn't over yet. When she had investigated and understood everything, only then will Akane feel ready to accept her heartbreak. That's the last we see of Akane before cutting to Kana standing in front of Aqua's grave. After making an offering with the flowers she brought with her, Kana turned her back on the grave and sat down. She talks about how lucky Aqua is to be away from this harsh world, filled with trouble. Sometimes, Kana has even thought it may be easier to leave the world just like he did. But yet, here she is still alive, even winning a Best Actress award. Although she doesn't like the idea of having to share the award with Akane, she has achieved her goal for now, and tells Aqua that she came to report it to him. Kana smiles, saying that she's not done yet though. Eventually she'll make it big overseas in Hollywood, living an incredibly long life, and when she dies, even the Prime Minister will offer condolences for her. Kana lets Aqua know that she'll be so popular that she'll be remembered for 1,000 years as the greatest actress of the Reiwa era. She gets no response but keeps going, calling Aqua jealous since he can't accomplish any of those goals anymore. Kana wants Aqua to say he's jealous and that he regrets dying. As she spoke, her voice continued to get softer, soon becoming a mumble as she became unable to suppress her emotions. Soon enough, a tear fell, and Kana tells Aqua that the tears of an actress aren't cheap. However, she also realizes that she cries every time she's in front of his grave now. These days, Kana has made it a point to avoid crying, showing that she had moved on from her child actor days. Kana had tried to believe the crying version of her was gone, but that was not the case as tears continued to flow from her eyes, the tears of heartbreak. At this point, it was impossible to say that she had completely recovered from the sudden separation. There was no way she could forget things like the joy of reuniting with Aqua in high school and learning that he was still in the entertainment industry. Smiling through her tears, Kana restates how she won't forget. Even through the pain, she laughed, determined to turn into something that would become part of her. The good thing about being an actor is that every experience, no matter how painful, can be used as nourishment. This pain and suffering in her chest, all of it will fuel her journey as an actress. In her thoughts, Kana tells Aqua to watch her. She still hasn't broken the vow she made during the first Pikomachi concert. She will become the idol Aqua supports, his only star. That's her vow. Then with the final words of the novel, Kana tells Aqua in her thoughts to watch her. The strong and tenacious Kana Arima. Watch her become a star that shines brighter than anyone, even under the brightest of skies. That's how the epilogue ends. Even after what seems like a few years have passed, it's clear that both Akane and Kana still miss Aqua very much, and are still dealing with this loss in their own ways. Kana visits Aqua's grave to talk with him, while Akane goes to the bridge where Aqua saved her. Of course, I think the most interesting part of this epilogue was definitely the portion with the crow girl. Finally, we get to learn a bit more about Tsukuyomi's origins. She may have even been one of the newborns who had the soul of the dead implanted in them. Maybe even the soul of the crow who Serena and Goro helped back then, which explains how Tsukuyomi knows so much about them. Although this doesn't completely erase her fraud status, it was nice to finally learn more about her. More importantly, if implanting the memories of the dead into newborns is indeed possible, then that means there is a chance Aqua can be brought back in some way. With how dedicated Akane is, I can see her dedicating a lot of her free time for the next few years doing research on that theory. She really will do whatever it takes to bring Aqua back. Either way, there is now a possibility for Aqua to return. Rather than giving us closure for Akane's character, they left it open-ended, by indicating that she'll be stuck on this idea for the foreseeable future. Either they're trolling us with this possibility, or there might actually be a continuation to the story. What do y'all think though? Did this new info make Tsukuyomi less fraudulent? And could there be a continuation to Oshi no Ko, with Akane trying to revive Aqua? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some more Oshi no Ko content here too that you can check out. Peace.